The present study explores the effect of misinformation and source credibility on memory accuracy. In 1974, Loftus and Palmer conducted a famous study that investigated the effect of leading questions on eyewitness memory, where participants were shown a video of an automobile accident and then questioned about the event. Results showed that participants' estimates of car speeds were higher when the verb smashed was used to describe the crash compared to less extreme verb conditions like hit. More individuals in the smashed condition also said yes to falsely remembering broken glass than those in the hit condition. This research demonstrated that after witnessing an event, subsequently observed information can distort one's memory of that event, which is a phenomenon that has been coined the misinformation effect. In 1986, Tousignant and colleagues discovered that taking a longer time to read information allows for better scrutiny of that information. Similarly, a 2015 study by Antonio identified that those with a higher need for cognition are less influenced by misinformation than those with a lower need for cognition. Additionally, Mojtahedi and colleagues' 2019 study found that participants were more likely to conform to misleading information from a co-witness when they perceived them as high in authority and intelligence compared to those perceived as low in authority and intelligence. Finally, following the COVID-19 pandemic, Wu and colleagues' 2022 study in China concluded that people trust health information from sources high in credibility compared to those low in credibility. Overall, there has been considerable evidence that the accuracy of one's recollection of an event can be altered through false information presented following the event, which may be modulated by the source. This is important in terms of limiting the contamination of eyewitness evidence in criminal investigations and understanding what influences the way we take in information in everyday life. So for the research question, we wanted to know, what is the role of source credibility in the presence of false information? And we had 3 hypotheses in our study. So the first is memory accuracy for the neutral condition will be higher compared to the misinformation condition. The second is there will be a significant difference between memory accuracy in the high credibility condition compared to the low credibility condition. And the third is in the presence of misinformation, memory accuracy will be lower in the high credibility condition compared to the low credibility condition.
Our study included 64 participants with an average age of 30 years old and an age range of 16 to 72. Of these participants, 37 were female, 24 were male, 1 was non-binary, and 2 preferred not to specify. We recruited participants with the use of a recruitment message which included the link to the study. This message was shared through social media platforms such as Instagram and sent to close family or friends through email or direct messaging applications. After accepting the conditions of the informed consent form, each participant was shown a 2-minute news clip about a bank robber who got caught after doing an interview with a local news station during his spree of robberies. Once the clip was finished, participants were given 8 scrambled words as a task to unscramble for the next 60 seconds before automatically moving on to the news report section of the study. This report was based on the video shown prior and varied based on the condition each participant was assigned. The news report for both high credibility conditions included a statement given by a police officer, which contained neutral and false pieces of information. These items were swapped depending on the version of the text received. Similarly, for both low credibility conditions, the statements in the text were given by a local resident, which included opposing neutral and false information between version 1 and version 2 of the report. Once the report was read, a similar word scramble task was given before automatically moving on to the memory test section. The memory test section indicated that all questions included would be testing participants' memory based on the contents of the video. Once all questions were answered, participants were given a demographic questionnaire and finally reached the last page with a thank you note regarding the study's completion. These are our materials pulled directly from the study. Firstly, in the news report, the green highlighted region represents the item indicating the credibility condition. The blue regions indicate the neutral items and the yellow regions indicate the false items. These colored areas serve as an indicator of critical items but were not visible for participants during the experiment. Secondly, the memory test included 15 multiple choice questions, each with 2 possible responses. The first question in this image is one of the attention check questions, and the second is a question to test participants' memory accuracy of a critical item. Finally, this is an example of the word scramble task given after the video as well as the news report. This served as a delay between receiving additional information in the news report and before being tested on the contents of the video.
So for our results, we used JASP software to analyze the data and used 2x2 mixed factorial ANOVA designed for our analysis. These are the means and standard deviation of the four conditions. Overall, there was a statistically significant main effect between type of information presented and memory accuracy, with a partial eta square of 0.36, indicating a large effect. So for both high and low credibility conditions, neutral information group scored higher than misinformation group. There was no significant effect for credibility conditions and no interaction effect between type of information and credibility of information. Our results confirmed our first hypothesis that the memory accuracy for neutral condition is higher compared to the misinformation condition, indicating that participants were influenced by the presence of misleading information, which is consistent with the previous literature of Tousignant and colleagues. We hypothesized our second and third hypotheses that high credibility conditions would have a stronger misinformation effect, reflecting on Loftus and Palmer's influential work, but the results did not reflect any relationship between source credibility and effects on misinformation. This suggests that while credibility may play a role in shaping individuals' perception of information, it may not worsen the impact of misinformation on memory recall. Our findings did not support a direct link between source credibility and misinformation susceptibility, which emphasizes importance of considering a range of factors in understanding how individuals perceive and recall information. This is particularly important in practical contexts where consequences of memory distortions are significant, such as in forensic setting. Future studies could explore additional variables such as whether framing information in a positive or negative manner affect memory recall, as well as conducting the study in different cultural contexts will further explain conditions of the misinformation effect and its interaction with source credibility. We thank you for listening, and here are references.